side, and they're going to ban out Odin right away.
It seems to me that with this Odin ban, usually you're leaning towards a health pick. You don't want to necessarily get countered too hard with that Odin cage and the anti-healing, so that's the strategy that Dignitas are trying to implement here.
So with the RDO ban coming out from Rival, Dignitas do have one more themselves, and it'll be the Hell. So even though it might have been leaning towards there, they opt not to go Hell whatsoever.
And with the RDO ban from Rival, it's truly a respect ban, because RDO can provide a little bit too much to the table right now with being able to be filled in that Guardian role and still be very aggressive and do a lot of player damage.
It's exactly what Robin's kind of bill is as well. Be very tanky, though not in the Guardian role in the jungle, and then just allow him to dive towers forever and ever with that damage reduction. Off the table, that leaves Dignitas selecting Camazotz. Whether he winds up in the short lane or the jungle, different story, but Terra with selection for Rival.
Perfect first pick for Dignitas. Variety has been playing this at a very high level in that solo lane, winning his matchups and even rotating to team fights. And Cubo Fred has been initiating and diving towers every single time. Going for a safe option, the Terra for Rival allows Callus to just rotate around and use that global presence for his team's advantage.
Vote, always a big fan of the Hou Yi, will select that hunter, and Jing Wei will be the hunter of choice for Arkle. And the Morrigan picked up by Dignitas, again, ambiguity. We know that Zeros likes the Morrigan, but it could wind up in the hands of Cuvo or even the solo laner. We don't know what these guys have been practicing during the offseason. That's why coming back to the fall split is always so exciting.
I wouldn't be surprised to see multiple Camazotz transformations just to go into the double bats, double bat out of hell just to dive some of these towers, trying to pick up some of these cleanup kills.
Well, they're not going to have a Thoth on their side, and we won't see Geb either. So those two bans coming out from Dig and Rival, respectively. Last two bans for the game, we're going to say no to Fafnir, at least the Purple Squad will, and then Dignitas on their side opt to ban out the Naja. So interesting bans here. Dignitas clearly worried about power. They want to make sure they don't get deleted by Naja, deleted by the Thoth. They're more concerned about, they're less concerned about the control since Terra and Arlong Shen are already selected.
Naja ban leads me to believe that they've been doing their homework, Dignitas, against Ice Baby, maybe even against the solo laner. Potentially Deathwalker could play Naja in the solo lane. It's actually a legitimate strategy, and maybe Arlong Shen could be played in that jungle position, but either way, a lot of mind games already. Dignitas locking in Tyr and Sobek, a lot of crowd control.
Answers to question of who's going to be playing Camazotz for me. Tyr in the hands of Variety. This is a character that he made his name on. When Variety sort of made his transformation about a year and a half ago, it was all Tyr all day, baby. Big impact plays coming out from your solo laner on the side of Dignitas. Camazotz in the hand of Cubo Fred. But then Rival, their final selection is Nox. Powerful character in the support role that we just saw last time around, but I think this will be Wolfie in the mid.
It's very important for it to be Wolfie in the mid for Nox because it'll disrupt the initiation from Variety's Tyr. If he can't get off that Fearless combination, then the Tyr character itself just becomes so lackluster, and if anytime you could force a purification beads from Cubo Fred if he wants to play aggressive now, he's not going to be able to have that defensively.
Another nice thing about Team Rival's composition, even though it was selected beforehand, Ice Baby can interrupt the Fearless as well with the taunt going in that direction. So always something to think about. There's a Sobek here in the mid lane. I think it's really just defensive, wanting to make sure in case anything happens, and then I think we'll see both Sobek and Arkle go wind up in their own lane.
We've seen Poppies actually neglect their hunter role earlier on today, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dignitas look to kind of four-man squeeze in that jungle role, trying to maybe strip away his speed buff against Ice Baby, because the Serket that's behind him without any mobility on that speed buff is a lot easier to really focus fire.
Instead, it looks like it'll just be a scouting process, and we'll see our teams going opt for the red buff. As per usual, everything's spawning in about 15 seconds, but everybody kind of in their spot. Variety looking for the one-man shot. He hasn't leveled up an ability just yet, and this is why. If he gets the idea that he wants to go ahead and kind of mess with these players by the gremlins, I think we see him opt for the Fearless. But instead, he chooses to go to the wave. He opts instead for the more powerful power cleave, which allows him to heal up the damage as well.
Also uses less mana. We've seen some junglers start buffs, but not elementals, at least today for the most part. Really trying to focus the advantage of getting that early level 2 and maybe look for a play happening. Once these blue minions go down, that was going to be a level 2 for Ice Baby, and it was very important timing for Variety to back off before the engage occurred.
It's all about the little things, right? Variety secures at least one of the little guys on the blue camp.
any little bit counts, because not only that, they have to focus on the potential blue buff while still managing their wave that was under the tower.
Sobek already causing a problem. Arkle hits him with the knockup. One more shot will do it. And Arkle starts the game off hot at 119. This is one of the things that plague everybody from the lowest level to the top of the crop here. When a Sobek plucks you at low levels into the minion wave, what do you do?
It's just so devastating, and unfortunately for Rival, Callus playing this Terra is one of the weakest level 1s, and it takes a long time to be able to do the red and the purple buffs. So it seems to me that Dignitas got their buffs first, got to lane first, and then applied that very important pressure. Trix Tank, no hesitation to look for any plucks.
Very rarely do you see hesitation come out from this guy, Tully. And again, you know, this guy, he's been playing for years on years, and his approach to the game has been very similar. I think Trix Tank has refined his talents a little bit more over time, but he's always been known as that aggressive support.
Even playing warrior supports every now and then, you know, your Sun Wukong,
Before that was a thing.
He used to play Nemesis and Naja way back, I believe, in Season 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the hot blink, but the Fearless is off the money. This time the stance switch is good and shows him into the wall. Deathwalker in trouble, but the show up from Ice Ice Baby is strong. Zigzag is fantastic. QO Fred secures a secondary kill, but Ice Ice Baby answers back with one of his own. In trouble now is the enemy jungler, and Rival falls down to the hand of Zeros all the way from the mid lane. I loved that sequence. Comes up poorly for Rival.
2 for 1. Dignitas getting the better end of that one. Variety getting the advantage. As a tier against an Erlang Shen is never a good sign, because Deathwalker, his goal in this game is just to be an absolute nuisance with that Mink form, and if you don't have the items to complement that attack speed, that damage, then you're just not really doing your job.
So very interesting approach from Variety. We see the blink come out, but he Fearlesses in blue stance. Now, he missed it, but
sure,
who really cares, right? It's more important to get the crowd control with the aggressive Fearless. Why did we see him even attempt? Most, if not all the time, we see the blink with the red Fearless.
Because if you start off with your defensive dash first, like you dash, you get the power cleave in your defensive stance, and then sometimes you'll have enough damage in your offensive stance just to finish them off. So the idea for Variety was, okay, as long as I do my initial primary damage and then I get the Fearless offensively, it'll confirm the power cleave offensively, and then that should be a kill.
One of the whether it was planned or not, if you blink on that player in that position and you miss your red stance Fearless, it's kind of over. As Camazotz gets his ultimates forced out. By starting with the blue stance Fearless, he had the second shot with the red Fearless.
And not only that, if you start with the offensive Fearless, they have enough time to react to you stance switching and then trying to combo your dash power cleave combination. The Mink could come out, the Turtle can come out, which will give him enough of a health shield just to survive the engagement.
So far, Dignitas wind up getting 2 kills off of that one, and that brings them up to 3 with the addition of the first blood they got earlier on. Rival, though, did not leave empty-handed. Ice Ice Baby did get a kill. Ice Ice gonna miss the zigzag here. Variety one more time going in. Goes over the top with the ultimate, looking for Deathwalker. Dashes through. The whole squad is here, Toli. And Deathwalker gonna blow up thanks to the dot. Zeros becoming the Circuit. Gets credit for that one.
They're not done yet. Callus running away. Wolfie with a long-range shot. Variety going to be traded yet again, 1 for 1, because Ice Ice Baby was there. Beautiful play by Zeros, transforming into the Circuit to start things off.
Watching Zeros play the Morgan is a treat. Don't forget he started his career as a jungler, now plays at one of the best mid lanes in the world, in my personal opinion. And when you give a player like that the Morgan, who just has, my point being, talking about his old roles, that he's got a wide god pool. He's played the Thors, he's played the Circuits, he's played all these characters at a professional level. Morgan is hard enough to play, but then when you transform into the other gods, you have to have the chops to play those gods. He can play Circuit probably just as well as Ice Ice Baby, and he becomes a threat in so many different ways with this selection.
Absolutely. Zeros is regarded amongst his peers as one of the best mechanically skilled individual players, which is why he was so heavily prioritized in that Energy Invitational draft. And it's something that we can really see from him time in and time out. And whenever he's also can be seen in ranked, he's not always playing mid-majors. He'll play some hunters as well.
He's such a competitor, Toli. He's always trying to get better. He's always trying to improve. He's a fun guy to watch. And right here, Vote doesn't look like he's having any fun. Big damage out of the ultimate out of Arkle. I liked the full commit, but it's gonna pay. Nice taunt, nice Ice Baby gets the last hit on Arkle. Scratch that. Vote does off the assist of the jungler.
Too ambitious was RVL. Trick's Tank ultimate was not available during that timing. He used it on the right side of the map when there was a heavy solo lane engage. Now Vote with a nice little advantage to be able to just farm up some gold. It seems that RVL, because he went for the Devourer's Gauntlets and not the... Oh, hold that thought. Oh.
The ultimate did not go on cooldown. Yeah. All right, sweet. So Zero's able to avoid that ultimate by going invisible just quick enough. So Ice Baby can't nail that ult. Very important, because if Zeros gets hit by that, I think he's dead to the dot.
Absolutely. And before I was mentioning the difference of builds between RVL and Vote. Vote finishing off the boots first. RVL neglecting the boots to start things off, and then going for Devourer's Gauntlets. So that's why he couldn't really cut the distance to be able to chase down Vote, and then once he overcommitted, he didn't have the mobility to get back into safety.
I mentioned I liked the full commit. I think Arkle thought he had enough damage to kill with the ultimate. If he did and he trades out 1-for-1, that's fine for him. In fact, it's better for him because of Jingwei's pass if he gets back to lane, which is also why we see him forgo the boots here. Trouble for Ice now. He's the one getting jumped on. Cubo Fred looking for a couple of basics, and Zeros pops around the back end and puts number 5 on the board for Team Dignitas.
Just not enough follow-up for Ice Baby. He wanted to find the kill so badly there, but nobody else could follow suit.
Wolfie plucked up and knocked up as well. Kyle's gonna dash forward. Cubo Fred, ooh. It's a little aggressive. I don't think he should have dove there, but a nice answer.
Beautiful ultimate, preventing the stun from Vote, which followed up with the Suns as well. So that ultimate is not available for Vote, allowing Arkle to maybe look to play aggressive here if he wanted to, really utilizing that lifesteal.
Fearless out of Deathwalker here, level 8 and level 9 for ID Deathwalker respectively. These guys seem to really be becoming one of the bigger spotlight players in the solo lane. But as a tier, you were saying?
As a tier, it doesn't really matter if you're behind this half a level or even a full level. Once you get that second relic, all you need is that one perfect blink engagement that'll either force multiple beads or guarantee pull the opposition closer to your team to just get off a great team fight.
Watching Variety shove a bunch of players into, I don't know, maybe a knock silence field thanks to Zeros, that would be, that's kind of the dream, right? You push players into Trick's Tanks' ultimate. There's so many applications for what Variety does, or rather what Tier does. Maybe what Variety does. These guys really begun to sort of embody the character.
He's kind of made his own applications throughout his SPL career, honestly. To see him transform from Season 2 to now is just an absolute treat to see. And the way Deathwalker's actually transformed from Season 3. Team Rival were known as Cyclone GG back in the day, and despite having a very lackluster performance in that previous spring, summer, and fall split of Season 3, they still stuck together through the thick and thin, and they've now just did so much work in Season 4.
That's sort of what I was alluding to over there, Tully, on the right side with those two solo laners. Was Variety sort of came into himself the beginning of, I would say, last year, maybe a couple of months before then, where he just all of a sudden transformed into this fantastic player that really might not have been given the chance or his proper due earlier on. And the same can be said for Deathwalker. Team Rival were just objectively not a great team when there was Cyclone. They worked together with the coach at the time, Hazer, who now coaches with Obey, and that brought them up to a level where they're looking strong. Deathwalker, I think, really led the charge for this team to embrace a new identity, both on the field and off the field. They're popular, fun guys that stream, and the fans love them. But also, Deathwalker's out there playing meta and non-meta picks and just destroying top-tier players.
A lot can be contributed to the creativity of Deathwalker and the strategic planning between the coach of Rival, whether it was former Hazer or now Alpha Jackal. They've been putting in the work necessary for these 5 members from Rival to just find wins when no one truly believed in them.
I think that's the key right there is the combination of Alpha Jackal coming through. Hazer did a lot of work to sort of elevate these guys, but in order to stay there and keep them there, Alpha Jackal lets these guys really flourish and keep their identity. And identity is what has allowed Rival to be so successful. This is the squad that in an elimination game at finals for Summer Split in DreamHack in front of a live audience went Ares solo. and won the game, and then won a second game. And that's really Rival in a ball.
Not only the areas, they run Gab before multiple times. A lot of
Tank.
trouble.
Oh my goodness. Tricks Tank from behind and Zeros and Arkle right from the front. That's going to take out two. Wolfie stays alive for the moment. And Zeros gets another one. 5 kills in total for the mid lane mage out of Sweden. 8 for Team Dignitas. What an impressive showing already from Zeros.
Dignitas came prepared for that small skirmish, just caught unguarded. Ice Baby falling before his ultimate. Callus didn't have time to get off that Terrace Blessing, and now Vote has no time to retreat under this tower.
The Aegis is going to save him for the moment, and that's going to be Variety's job well done. All he had to do was zone, and that's exactly what he pulls off. Team Dignitas take down the 11.5-minute Gold Fury, pushing them forward by about 2,000 gold.
What a performance from Dignitas, finding 3 quick picks. This game has been slow and steady before that 3-for-0 from Dignitas. It's been a 1-for-0 on the left, a 2-for-0 on the right. You know, these small little wins here, but now just booming off with this victory, allowing them to get this Gold Fury. Now with the Portal Demon spawning, it seems that Rival are trying to answer back.
Yeah, but Tricks Tank smells it out one more time. He's going to show up, but he's by himself. Zeros is available around the back as well. 20% of the Portal Demon. Here comes Lurking in the waters, and that's enough to send everybody packing, so Rival don't get the objective.
That one ultimate could allow Rival to try to force the issue. It's a big ultimate, does a lot of damage, has a huge slowing minefield, as I like to call it, where you're controlling a lot of space. It makes it very easy to dive towers, so Dignitas needs to be a little worried without that ultimate.
What I really like here about Team Dignitas is that they came in just ready to play. They've been talking about just continuing to be #1. Team Rival is the squad that made it to finals. Team Rival is one of the better teams. And Dignitas don't look like they've missed a step. They look like they took 2 days off after the summer finals, and this is just them continuing on. I mean, Zeros is playing incredibly.
All 5 of these Dignitas members are just so naturally talented, with the exception of Arkill's overextension on the left-hand side, trying to kill off Vote. He is also doing a wonderful job mechanically. Finding the first kill on some Vote was so important for him. Now finishing off this Executioner, and his DPS is just going to skyrocket from here.
Already jumping into the critical strike category is Arkle. But you want to talk about transformations, man. We were talking about Variety and Deathwalker earlier on. When Dignitas was made in the spring split, Deathwalker might come around now. When this team was created in the spring split, it was 4 qualified SPL superstars in Arkle who had played very well, but on some lower end teams. I would say by the middle of the summer split, Arkle had gone beyond proving himself, and I think Arkle is just one of the best hunters available, one of the best players in the league, and it just makes you realize just how much foresight Team Dignitas has.
Oh, nice disruption. Tricks Tank couldn't get the pluck off. Now his ultimate is going to be used, trying to escape, but it's Callus that gets picked off by Arkle.
Just too deep went the support, and now it looks to be even more powerful. 2-man Fearless. Cuvo Friend picks him up, corralled by Variety, and put down by the rest of the squadron. Vote's going to jump towards the back end. Deathwalker's here while Arkle is caught in a bad spot, but the Aegis saves him for the moment, and all of that aggression leaves a Team Rival hurting. 2 players down for
the Fearless again. The blink. Fearless. Deathwalker nowhere to go. Wolfie's left alone in a 1v4. Should be able to hold the tower for a little bit longer. And the way that it started off was just so well for Ice Baby to start things off, because he stopped the dash from Tricks Tank with that Circuit Poison from that second ability. And that's not an easy thing to do, to predict the Sobek dash. You can't do that reactionary. You have to just know when the Sobek's going to do it.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, because Ice Baby comes out with that fantastic play on the other team. Rival is not slouching at all here. Rival is playing a very good game. If you watch this back and really play it at half speed, you're going to be able to analyze everything that Rival's doing, and they look damn good, totally. It's just that Team Dignitas is playing out of their minds right now. The flank the first time in that same spot was from Tricks Tank. This time around, it was from Variety catching 2 players in the Fearless against the wall, allowing everybody just to collapse. What a showing from Team Dig.
It was Trixtank baiting himself to start things off for the favor of Dignitas, and then it was Variety hitting the last nail in the coffin that got not only that first great Fearless to double Fearless, and then the Blink Fearless onto Deathwalker. No time for Deathwalker to even use his ultimate in that encounter.
I think games with Tier are some of the most fun to watch. Because all of a sudden you're shoving somebody's face into a wall, the rest of the team is doing stuff, and then you're just chilling. And then a Blink Fearless is just, oh, I have so much fun watching this
As
guy.
a Tier player, you also have to be very mindful about the immunity frames that occur during the juggle of the Fearless. There's a small window where abilities will not actually hit those targets being juggled.
And so when you follow up with your power cleave and subsequent stance switches and all the rest of the fun stuff that Tier does, you've got to be aware of that. It's a very, very technical god. One of the harder gods to play in SMITE.
Not just yourself as a Tier player, but the rest of your teammates have to wait for you, the enemy, to start going down after that power stance, or the power cleave rather.
Yeah, it's one of the more difficult characters to play for sure, especially being able to do what Variety does is not too simple. Take a look towards the left side of the map. Team Dignitas going for the Gold Fury, and they'll get it no problem. Wolfie shows up just a hair too late. Ultimate still available, but just had no clue that the objective was under assault. So shows up as the character dies. Team Dignitas pushing themselves even further in the lead, 6,000.
Vote didn't have his ultimate to drop at the Gold Fury at the timing either, so not the most ideal situation for Rival to try to defend such an objective. Dignitas not letting go of the pressure. They've just been all over the place here. Portal Demons as well, so they're controlling all aspects of the map, making it very difficult for Rival to really get back into this one.
Yeah, Rival does this almost all the time with their ward vision. They cut off sort of a straight line between the Tier 1 towers with specifically sentry wards, so that they know what part of the jungle they can control. I like that. But the problem, Anatoly, for me, is that they don't extend past that line. So although this area, their own jungle, is nice and safe, everything past that, most notably the neutral objectives, they have no idea what's going on.
If I was in Rival shoes, I don't really care what's happening on the
Gold Fury?
Not the Gold Fury necessarily, but if there's any sort of rotations underneath from Dignitas, I'm more content about trying to farm safely. If there's no aggressive positioning rotations from Dignitas, then Rival can just freely sit in a 1-3-1 split and just wait for that late game. Level 20 Hu Yi and a Nox is not something to scoff at.
At the same time, at least these wards that flank the middle lane, I wouldn't mind seeing them pushed up so they could defend the objectives a little bit better. Deathwalker gets collapsed on by 4. Ultimate already used. Here comes the rest of the squad. Nice size baby on a Cubo and forces out his ult. So an ult for ult, Cubos for Deathwalkers. That's a good trade. Team Rival get away with it.
Better to use the ultimate for Cubo than to use that purification bead. It's a lot shorter of a cooldown, and the team fight was already over anyway. You're gonna lick your wounds out there and just walk away. They got the ultimate from Deathwalker. Maybe Variety can set up another kill with a good Fearless.
Now, when you look at the itemization coming out from Cubo Fred, and you stare at that beat stick, 40-20, 40 power, 20 pen. It's just a strong item for a jungler that's ability based. But this is what people I think sort of underestimate the healing on Arlong Shen. You look at Terra and you say, sure, but it's less about her and it's more about the Arlong Shen heal. Sure, he only gets it once and it's in the ultimate, but that ultimate is frequently used as a last-ditch effort. And it goes nowhere.
Nice juke. Zero is not able to connect that stun, but transforms into the Terra for the blessing, giving clear casting and mobility to chase this down.
Now it's a 4-on-2. Nice baby being chased out by Variety. Sprint in tow. Nice dodge to avoid getting pinned down. And this whole team fight on the right-hand side is going nobody's way until Wolfie gets chunked. Cubo Fred finds a target, and now Wolfie's in trouble. The Fearless onto both players. Keep in mind, Wolfie is shadowing the enemy target, so he's going to be safe from damage until Trixtank shows up just in time. He timed the Nox shadow perfectly. Pops up from the ground, takes one out, while the jungler handles the second. Deathwalker in trouble now as well. Pins 2, but Cubo's not done. He's taking Deathwalker.
He needs to get the heal, but he didn't get the heal from the ultimate. 3 members dead from Rival. Fire Giant is available. The anti-healing from Cubo Fred would have made an impact, but the timing didn't make of difference. So 5-on-2 advantage with Ice Ice Baby and Vote not really in position to stop this one.
Free Fire Giant. I guess not free. They paid in advance with that team fight. Going ahead and cleaning it up. 21 minutes on the clock, 14-4. Team Dignitas up almost 10,000 gold. These two teams look like in two different classes.
It seems that way, but you have to remember how Dignitas were playing these early game skirmishes. They were just waiting for Rival to group up. That left side mid-Harpy engagement, when they found 3 picks, was the result, or the after effect of that was the first Gold Fury. So Rival couldn't really adapt to that. That just kept clumping up, allowing Dignitas to just dump all those abilities.
Team Dignitas now grouping up in the middle lane. Fire Giant in tow. They're going to look to push this tier 1 tower very easily. Team Rival don't really want to defend this one. Really just not worth it. They're going to slink back. And Dignitas looking for perhaps a Gold Fury, which is about to spawn. About 20 seconds.
Enough time to get maybe a tier 1 tower on the left, get the purple buff for Tricksting, get some more of that protection shred in these team fights. Vote needs to be careful though, but he wants to drop a ward. However, Dignitas are so far in the lead that they have expendable gold to drop these sentries between the red and the purple buff, between the speed and the blue, not allowing Rival to get vision on their own jungle.
And this is it's just furthering the shutdown of Team Rival. Easy Gold Fury coming out from the Crit Hunter. If you want to talk about killing objectives, Gold Fury and Fire Giant, Crit is the way to do it. And looking at the build coming out from Team Dig's Hunter Arkle, he's certainly well equipped. 2 crit items already online. Tier 2 tower being attacked by Team Dignitas.
Tricksting, look, gonna be able to dash away backwards.
Blink forward. Arkle immediately activates that Aegis. That's going to look good, totally. A crit from Ice Ice Baby, but crits go in the other direction as Deathwalker dives the Hunter to no avail. Ice Ice falls down again to the ultimate out of Tricksting.
And Wolfie needs to get out of danger, but he can't. Cubo takes him out. 3 dead yet again from Rival. Both dropping the suns on himself, trying to juke out this dash from Tricksting. He's still lining it up. He's going to force out the beads, but here comes the Lawbringer.
Oh, the Fearless not going to find it. And Vote's going to live, but the 2 tanky members of Team Dignitas able to push the enemy out, successfully zone, and create enough space for their carries to take down the Phoenix in the left side of the map.
So much patience from Dignitas. It seemed that they wanted to get the tier 2 tower right off the bat, but they baited the abilities from Rival. Tricksting actually dashed backwards, expecting the full onslaught from the black and purple.
This time it's going to be a push forward. And Vote's grabbed and he quickly jumps away. Mid-Phoenix now, down for the count. Tier 2 tower on the right side, totally one of the last towers to exist. And this one's going to crumble, and it will just be about the right Phoenix after
These are very quick Phoenixes. It's only 24 minutes into the game, and already 2 Phoenixes are down. Season 4 has seen a little bit of longer gameplay in the previous splits, but this couple of games today, at least, some of them have been relatively quick. You know, we saw that 17-minute surrender. I think it was from Poppies. But this team and this performance, I would not expect this kind of an early domination from Dignitas, at least against Rival.
That's what I'm saying. This game is over. 20,000 gold in the lead. This game is done, right? We're just waiting for the actual topple of the king. And then we'll move on to game number 2. But for my money, totally, Team Dignitas started... I don't think Team Dignitas was reachable at around the 15, 16, 17-minute mark.
After second Gold Fury, the game was getting a little bit too out of control for Rival. And then that one team fight around the solo lane between that blue and speed buff, giving the Fire Giant after that 3-for-0. Rival was just very easily able to close out this game.
And at the same time, I don't fault Rival for not folding. In fact, I like this. I like that they're not. This is not a game that they should lose so handedly. And it's the first game of the year, first game of the split, rather. This is the game that you want to stick out. You want to see if you can come back. Because, I mean, when you're full build, 10,000 more gold for Team Rival, and anybody wins the team fight, anybody wins the game. Sticking it out, I respect this call, but I think Team Dignitas clearly are in the driver's seat, already taking off towards game 2.
They're just sticking together much better than Rival are. Every single rotation in the jungle side, they're grouped up together. You see how nobody's really straggling around. Nobody's, you know, dilly-dallying around. They're wanting to get these objectives and confirmed. And something that Rival has been doing, or rather lack of doing, is being able to pick off some Dignitas members with the mobility that Callus can provide with that Terra's Blessing.
It's that refined play that I think has made Team Dignitas not only just the one of the stronger teams in the world, oh my goodness, but the team to beat. I think this is the first time in recent memory that throughout the entire course of the year, it was a different team other than Energy that was the squad to beat.
Did you see those Chris from Arkill onto the Portal Demon?
Yeah,
9-1-1. That's what Rival are trying to call right now after this kind of performance. Trying to get back into the mindset is what they need to do for game number 2.
It's different in Europe, actually.
Oh, is it?
It's like 8-1-1 or something. Maybe just 9.
I don't know.
You know, I read a story the other day about a helper dog, a service dog that dialed 9 for the emergency service.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Right now, that's absolutely what Team Rival could use, a helper dog, because Deathwalker is just getting pushed, and he's getting dogged down himself. Big heal from the ultimate. Oh my goodness. But is it enough? Served up a second time. Pushed
Fearless.
in. We just saw that one. This time it puts him in a tombstone. Cubo Fred gets the credit for it. Trickstang in trouble, and he's going to get jumped on by the jungler.
Cubo.
Staying alive for the moment, but he's helped out again by Variety. This man's tier out of control.
Cubo dove beyond that Phoenix, finding 2 members, and yet again, these Fearlesses from Variety are just next level, showing us all why this god is still a great soul lane god. Arco trying to pad those stats, finally picking off Vote, a deicide for Dignitas, and that's game number 1.
Exactly the way I think Dignitas expects.